All right, welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast. This week I have Mike Moran. How's it going, Mike?
Good man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Do you go by Mike or Michael in
Either
this setting?
one. Mike most of the time though,
Okay.
but mostly I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
That's
can
fair.
call me Bill if you want to. I don't care. It's your that's your thing. That's
That's
your decision.
you give up host rights very quickly. That's very impressive.
It's not something I care about.
Yeah.
You can call me whatever.
Well, you are a stand-up comic, podcast host, and improviser from. Is that what I'd call you, improviser? How would I call that?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I
Improv.
still haven't taken the time to figure it out.
Yeah. But
Improv actor. I mean, everybody's an improviser, right?
yeah, I
At
guess. I
some
mean,
time.
I don't know. I have writers that dictate everything I say.
This is all scripted for you.
Yeah, it's my basic. Well, my wife basically. That's a little thing.
She holds up cue cards like at the appropriate times.
Yeah, I would actually be nice because I would fuck up in less social situations. But like, no, I definitely. She's the one I come to where I'm like, I mean, I'm not a comic. I just do a podcast. But at any
Right.
time, so I'll, so I'll ask her like anytime I have like a tweet or a Facebook thing I want to put up. I'm like, can you punch this up for me? Like you're way funnier than
Really?
I am. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
she a comic?
Nope. She has no interest in that whatsoever. But she's
Mhm.
just it's like that naturally funny but also witty kind of thing, and then it makes
I'm
me
not familiar with
angry.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bullshit. I know. I know people in my life, both in music and in comedy or acting, where they're all just like they have the skills, but they have absolutely no desire to pursue it. And then me
Yeah.
and all my untalented friends are working our
Yeah.
asses off to try to
I'm the
keep.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're located in Baltimore. Just tell
Yes.
us some of the. I know I just described kind of like what you do, but can you tell us a little bit about the podcast, a little bit about any improv and stand up that you do?
Well, the podcast is called Digression Sessions, and it's really Josh Caderna's podcast. I'm just kind of his side man. He does most of the work.
Yeah, we've had him.
And
I've had him on. He's
yes,
yeah, he was awesome.
yeah. And we mostly interview. It kind of started with just interviewing friends and local comedians and just whoever else we could get, other podcasters. And it's gotten bigger over the years, mostly thanks to Josh's efforts. And we've had Patton Oswalt on recently. We've also had Seton Smith from the show Mulaney, who was like a local Baltimore guy who
Mhm.
went from like doing the shitty open mics to being famous all of a sudden. And we've had Ralphie May, we've had Brian Husky, and we mostly just I don't want to say interview because we try to avoid like the standard behind the music questions, of like so what got you started and
Yeah,
um have you always liked comedy?
I steer head
Like
first to those questions. I don't give a shit.
no, we do sometimes too, but like we try to keep it a little more, like more of a conversation type of
Yeah.
thing,
Well,
and
those are
and a
also
little
yeah.
weirder, like a little into the more existential.
Mm. Those are also those basic questions are also ones that like famous people or whatever you want to call famous have answered a million fucking times. They don't want to talk
Yeah,
about the process. They don't. Yeah, exactly.
right. Yeah, we
Well,
want
how
to
do
get
you end
more.
up doing that? Like how do you avoid the typical questions?
Um, just by being weird, I think,
Just say whatever comes in.
yeah, like I don't know, like for myself, I can't speak for Josh, but I know for me, like my brain it'll come up with something I really want to ask or I really want to know, and like the adult part of my brain will be like, don't ask that. That's not an appropriate interview question. This is going to be stupid. And but then like the other part of me is like, screw it, just go for it.
Yeah.
And so we end up just getting into these like bizarre conversations and talk about things that you wouldn't expect in an interview. Like me and Patton Oswalt had a long talk about our favorite like H.P. Lovecraft
Yeah.
stories, and
Well, that also helps
you
from
know,
knowing a really deep, I guess, interest of the person that you're interviewing.
um, Josh probably takes the time to research that stuff. I
All
mean,
right.
for me, it's more like I don't know. I think I've always just kind of I've gotten the or maybe it's just because I'm terrible at social situations. I don't want to talk to people about normal things. So I try to find something that is more interesting, or I don't know. I like to find the weirder parts of people, and I think I do that in conversation, probably inappropriately. So I guess it kind of comes out with the
Are you
podcast.
generally like a curious person about other people, at least?
I am. I'm definitely not curious about. I'm definitely bi-curious right now. No. Um, I think I am curious, but not about like what you ate last night, or like what shows you're watching necessarily. Not that I'm, think I'm really intelligent or anything. I'm just weird, and yeah, I feel like I have this weird thing where I like people like open up to me really easily, which is
Oh,
kind of
that's
cool.
cool. Why do you think that is? That's
I
interesting.
don't know. I don't know. It's strange. I guess I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I think it goes along with the curious thing, where if you show a genuine curiosity, even if it's
Hmm.
like, even if you're just, well, when you say you're not curious about like the BS things, like whatever, what did you eat last night? What are you
Right.
wearing? Yeah. I actually think that shows a genuine curiosity. You're not interested in the stock questions. You're interested in, from what I gather, understanding something about the person on a deeper level.
Yeah,
And when you
humans are
show, yeah.
pretty interesting. Humans are pretty complex and interesting if you can like get past the social norms of
Yeah.
conversation.
And that is the worst. That's actually why I really, really enjoy when I have a friend, or like my wife does this a lot, where they can contain or whatever, maintain normal conversation. And I can like, I don't tell me if you do this. Everybody I know thinks I'm a lunatic for doing this. Every like 10 to 20 minutes of social interaction, I usually have to dive into my phone for like just a couple of seconds just to kind of refresh and come back.
To escape or to look up something that they're talking about.
No, oh no, no, to escape, to like recalibrate my. I don't know. It's so much sustained effort.
What does the Nasdaq mean? Let me Wikipedia that real quick.
No, my friends aren't doing that well.
Right.
Let's not get out of ourselves here. Yeah.
So what do you mean? Uh, you have to go into your phone to just like
Refresh my brain. Just like reset it
okay,
and just be like, I need to. I don't even have to pay attention to what I'm looking at. Like sometimes,
right.
like yeah, like
It's a
sometimes.
weird comfort thing these days to go into your phone.
Yeah, this is my universe. I don't need to. Oh, to be fair
Right.
though, before I had a smartphone, I would just chug water and then have to force myself to have to go to the bathroom every so often. And
Really?
like that's my exit strategy. Yeah, yeah.
I can definitely relate to looking forward to going to the bathroom in social situations. I never had the foresight to drink a lot of water so that it was genuine. So you cover all the bases. So if anybody was in there with you, they could confirm that you actually did take a healthy piss.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
For
That would
me, they
be
just be like he was wandering in the stall, looking at the
pacing
light.
back and forth.
Yes.
Although I admit um I have gone to the bathroom to like blow my nose quick. Just grab a paper towel, blow my nose if I don't have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
But I'm to this day I'm worried people throughout my life think I have like a coke problem or something. I'm already jittery as it is.
Yeah, or
I
an
just
eating
keep going to the
disorder.
bathroom and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's funny. I've actually
Yeah.
been I've learned the trick of putting baby powder on my greasy face before I go on stage so I don't look all
Huh.
shiny. So I'm like walking around with a little baggie full of white powder and like going to the
Oh my
bathroom.
god.
And
Yeah.
then I've got it like all caked all over my face and shit.
Well, that's good. It's not like they're cocaine and comedy are synonymous. It's not like
No,
anybody's gonna think
I don't think
anything. I
there's
mean,
ever been a cokehead and I don't think there's ever been any substance abuse issues with any
not really.
comedian so far as I know.
Entertainment in general is a very drug-free
It
environment.
really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Well,
is.
that's
It's
awesome. So,
pretty good.
sorry. So I'm at my in-laws this weekend and a scheduling thing. I'm doing these from there, so I'm on my laptop. So
Mhm.
I'm not this laggy in real life. I don't know if it's done that for you yet, but
Not
I'm
really.
definitely lagging. Oh, good. Okay, well that makes me feel better. Um,
No, you're
okay,
fine.
so anyway, so what'd you have for dinner last night? And also, sub question: how'd you get into comedy? No,
Uh, dinner
actually,
I had
what I.
wings. Ooh,
Oh,
there's
that's
a weird
awesome.
little thing.
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Did it get
That's all right.
all?
You just sounded like you were being sucked into the abyss. You there? Uh, I'm all alone now. Oh, I don't like the way I look in this little icon. My head is way too long. Hey,
Oh, are you still there?
yeah, I'm here.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Well, go
That's
figure
all
it.
right.
The second I decided to point out that things are going slowly, it cut out.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, all right, cool. So I was about to start asking you stock comedy questions, but this is one thing that I'm actually like really genuinely interested in,
Yeah, sure.
is how people not just get into doing comedy, but get into enjoying comedy over other art forms. It's interesting just in general to me how people go into art as opposed to all of the much more socially accepted forms of recreational activities in their
Hmm.
youth. Like it's interesting to me when people choose even music over like sports or something. Like that kind of
Right.
thing takes a genuine you have to have veered pretty far off course to like
Yeah.
want to start your own band or get on
Right.
stage and do comedy. So what about comedy I guess when you first experienced it, not necessarily doing it, but just like watching a special or catching, I don't know, going to a show, what was it? When could you remember that moment when you kind of realized like this art form is different than everything else in life? Like there's just something
Um,
special about this.
that's a really good question. I'm thinking two different things. I think like I realized how much I like to laugh and how much I liked silliness. I think with Bert and Ernie, honestly.
Really?
I think so. That was like the first thing that was like kind of, when you're a kid that actually has like genuine humor, like it's kind of like a less formed version of like adult humor, kind of like the
Mhm.
straight man, silly man. And I just remember as a kid, just I had it was me and my other funny friend, and we were just like, we just thought we were hilarious, and we just loved laughing all the time. And I don't know, I guess I just always held on to that, and just noticed that I could, I had very little going for me throughout school besides being able to make people laugh occasionally, and but often I was way too weird even for that. But weirdly, music was the thing that I dreamed about, though. Like, I was definitely the kid that, while all the other kids decided they're going to be sports heroes, I decided I was going to be a rock star in like second grade. Um, and that was the thing that I fantasized about forever and still kind of do. And, but I just had such a terrible work ethic throughout my whole life until I was like 22 or so.
Yeah. Do you ever
I
play in a
really like
band?
Yeah, I do have two kind of bands going right now. I'm not great at it, but I just really love doing it.
Yeah.
And as far as I don't really remember like I don't know. I've just always loved good comedy. Like the Simpsons on Thursday nights with my dad and pizza was just like the greatest thing for me. Um, and I don't know. I really didn't think I was gonna be. It's really weird. Like I'm still just like stunned that I am a comedian. Like I'm still just like people are always asking me like what like do you get frustrated with your career? Do you wish you were further? Like are you gonna try to do this and this and this? And I'm like I'm still just like riding the white cloud of like wow I get to be a comedian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I really didn't start, I didn't even think about it until I was 27, 28 or so. And it really wasn't like part of the plan. So, I was always like, it'd be cool to try an open mic sometime or
Yeah.
to take an improv class or whatever. But, I had no idea that I could like actually be a comedian. And that's like what I would be doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like still really just like grateful for that.
That's a little similar to when Seinfeld was asked about being a comic. He would always say he never thought about being famous, never thought about being, successful. He just saw guys doing comedy and thought, I want to be one of those guys. It's more important to
Yeah.
me to be one of those guys than it is anything that comes after that.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
agree.
a really healthy attitude to take on it. So you're not coming
Definitely.
in with weird expectations. I've seen in the music world, I've played in bands forever. In the music world, I've seen musicians come in with that attitude
Hmm.
and burn out very quickly the second you hit a couple of roadblocks.
Right.
But like, yeah, you come in, the attitude is like, I don't care what happens. I need to be this thing. This needs to be a part
Yeah,
of me.
exactly. Like it just needs to be like I'm definitely to the point where it's like I just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like unless something changes drastically inside of me, I just I have to do it for the rest of my life. Like I
Yeah.
plan on just doing it almost every night for the rest of my life if I can.
Yeah. Nice. Now,
Um,
how are you as far as financially? Do you have, I just was, Facebook stalking you the other day and I saw, did you just leave your job? Is that,
I did. I quit my table waiting job and am Uber driving now.
oh, nice. Oh, that's, yeah.
Which
Oh,
is like great for promotion because you get to talk to people all day long and they're
yeah.
totally into the fact that I do comedy and podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, you put some recordings of yours in the CD player, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just this funny guy." And then halfway through the ride, they realize, like, "Wait, you sound a lot like this guy." Yeah.
Well, number one, my car isn't from 2002, so there's no CD.
Oh wow, damn.
Sorry, was that mean?
I guess I
No,
don't know.
I'm not, dude. I had a disc. I had a First of all, I didn't get a CD player until 1999, and I didn't stop
Just in
using a
time
CD
for Limp
player.
Bizkit.
Yes, just in time for $3 bills, y'all. And I didn't stop using my CD player until like 2010, so I can't talk. But with Uber, they make you get a newer car, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have a disc a disc player.
That's really cool that you're doing that. I always say that musicians need to learn a lot from comedians about making art, in the sense
Hmm.
that a lot of times musicians, they write a song in their basement, they
Hmm.
teach it to their band, and they go and play it live and they record it, and that's that. But it
Right.
never tend it's some a lot of songs will evolve over time, but not the way like a comics bit does. And I think that
Hmm.
that's very, like, you actually get to, like, I guess whatever, like crowdsource your, not your material, but crowdsource like a response to your material. You get focus groups every
Interesting.
night. And so
Yeah, is that so? Do you try to write music like that? Like go to open mics and try it out and then like revamp it and try it again?
for my main band, kind of, it's more like I'll change things up at shows if things are one or another, but I'll also send for real demos to other musicians and producers and say
Hmm.
any advice. And I'd say there were maybe my band's last EP, we probably used 4 or 5 suggestions from people who,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
But
awesome.
the other thing is we make sure that our producer and engineer are all very trusted people that we listen to their
Yeah.
advice on a lot. But so I feel like that's something that musicians need to learn from comics, but comics absolutely need to learn how to market themselves for musicians and how to hustle.
Okay.
And like, so when you tell me your promotional like value from Uber driving, to me that sounds like a musician thinking. That sounds like
Mhm.
a rapper who's putting his mixtape, that guy who just got fired for putting his mixtape in Happy Meals. Like,
Right.
that's the kind that for
Did that
real
really
is,
happen?
yeah.
Nice.
And that got him more publicity than anything else.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
problem was, I bet his mixtape was dog shit, and so like,
Right.
there's no way that he's probably going to monetize that. Uh,
Right.
but like, that's kind of, but that's that. I don't know. That's just the hustle from musicians who know what they're doing. Like, and I know some
Right.
comics do it, but it's like when people talk about how Kevin Hart, like what he was doing, it's like, oh my god, what an, or Dane Cook with MySpace, or Kevin Hart with mailing lists and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
It was like, wow, they hustled harder than anybody. No wonder they're the most famous comedian in the world. That's what every like hardworking open mic band does. Like, it's
Really?
just it's yeah, in the band world, it's even hard to promote to people because anybody you're trying to promote to has already been handed like 14 flyers that day
Right.
and received
Yeah.
10 messages on Facebook from bands
Yeah.
that week, whatever. But that's really, really cool that you're figuring
So
out ways
so
to hustle.
what yeah, I don't really like yeah, it's cool. Like I don't, it's not like I'm playing the podcast in the car or like my stand up in the car,
Yo, yo,
but
yo, watch this part. Listen to this part. Listen to this part.
but it does come up with like almost every customer.
Yeah.
And I did actually the other night they asked me to play some of my stand up, so I did. But what tips
God,
could
talk
you
about
give me like
a nightmare scenario. You're just hoping they laugh. Otherwise, you get an awkward car ride.
they were so drunk that
Yeah.
it didn't matter either way. But what kind of tips could you give? Like what do you think comedians could be doing that musicians are doing
Well, you could read my article
specifically?
series on how to build up a fan base on babe.tv, 8-part article series.
Okay,
No,
I will.
no, well, it's
No,
like
send it to me. I'll definitely read it.
definitely. Oh, absolutely. It's the short of it would just be kind of what you're doing is finding new ways to interact with. Or sorry, see, this is where music and comedy scenes can kind of be different. Whereas
Hmm.
if you're in a band, the vast majority of people at the show, assuming people promoted it right and tried to get people out, are going to be people who are just there to see music. With
Right,
open mics for in comedy, it's mostly comedians there.
right.
So when you're at that open mic, you end up in a situation where, as cooperative as it can be sometimes, everyone in there is kind of competing with you for spots, kind of competing with you for
Yeah, definitely.
this or that, or at the very least, they're not reflective of a general audience. Just like
Hmm.
musicians are not reflective of a general music listening audience, they know too
Hmm.
much, so they
Right,
experience it differently.
right,
So
right.
like so the promotion at an open mic for a band is very different than a comic. But so that is to say, if a comic is performing and there are lots of people like in the crowd that aren't comics, you obviously you want to do that thing that everyone talked about Kevin Hart's people for doing, which was going around getting everyone's email, like whatnot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend
yeah.
doing that per se because that's a
Hmm.
little 2008 or whatever.
Right.
But the thing that bands do or bands should be doing is getting like my band does this. We went to Vistaprint. We all these bands were doing download cards, which
Uh-huh.
require you got your album on whatever site you're hosting it on. You hand out the download card or you sell it, and then it gives them a
Right.
code. They go in, they enter the code, they get a download, and then there, and it's got your band name on it, so people can remember who you are. That's awesome. Problem was, it's really expensive to do that. Everyone has to have their own code, and it's a lot of clicking and entering in information that who wants to do
Right.
that for a band you've never heard of? Um,
Hmm.
so what we did was we went to Vistaprint. We got 5,000 download cards for about $75. They look really, really nice. Our
Hmm.
singer did graphic design on both sides because that's what people are gonna before they even decide to check you out. They're just gonna see the image that you give them, the name
Hmm.
that you have, and that's it. And all we did was put our Bandcamp and Facebook information on there, like the
Hmm.
simplest thing. Like, and next time I do download cards, if I do them for this podcast, which I'm sure I will, I'll
Hmm.
probably just go Google Eric tries too hard.
Yeah,
Type
that's
in
kind of what I was thinking too.
yeah,
Is like you don't really need to give specifics these days. You can look up anybody if you just know their name.
yeah. And the
You
trick is
find
just
like everything.
make it easy for them. Make it
Hmm.
extremely easy for them, and that's really so. That's one of 800 random tips, but that's as far as just what you can do on a day-to-day basis to get
Right,
stuff out there. And then
right.
the other is this is my favorite tip that I actually like took me forever to figure out is that your target audience isn't necessarily the audience you think it is. It's usually a smaller subsect of it. So
Hmm.
like, well, I'm just so I don't have to like transfer all the references. Let me just do it for like what I would do for my band. My
Hmm.
band is a pop punk band. Let's take another pop punk band that's much, much bigger, All Time Low, that we were discussing before because they're from Baltimore.
Yeah.
And so it would seem like the best place for me to promote my band is outside of an All Time Low show, right? It's got all the
Hmm.
people who, yeah. But every time we do something like that, you pass out like 500 cards, maybe 2 or 3 people check it out. Even if
Hmm.
you had personal interaction with these people, which is usually the trick. If I had done that at a basement show with 5 people, all 5 of them checked out the band. So I was like,
Right.
where is this discrepancy? Why is that? And the issue is if you're a pop punk band, your target audience isn't going to be pop punk fans because pop punk fans don't necessarily go to
Mhm.
local shows. They don't necessarily care about going to check out new music. Your
Right.
target audience for a band, regardless of genre, is people who go to local shows and people who are interested in checking out local music. Then you have to
Hmm.
go from there and figure out, okay, where are the people who like my genre of music who also fit those other categories? And it's the same
Interesting.
thing with you guys. It's just because somebody goes and sees, I'm trying to think of another super famous stand up today.
Josh Caderna.
Yeah, Josh Caderna. If yeah, someone wants to go see him at the Garden being the place behind his house, then they're not necessarily. I miss Josh. I haven't talked to him in like weeks. I think we talked once online. But like, we'll say Kevin Hart or say Louis
Right.
C.K. Not everyone who goes to see Louis C.K. every year when he comes to town also goes out to the sidebar open mic or
Good
to
point.
a local feature show at Magoobies. So what you
Right.
want to do is you want to get the people who are already going to those places. Oh, here,
Mhm.
you know what? Podcasting. And you might have heard this before. They say your target audience, if you get your target audience for podcasting isn't people who are into this thing that you're podcasting about, it's
Right.
people who already listen to podcasts. That'd be like
Yeah.
trying to get somebody to watch TV who's never watched TV before. You have to
Yeah.
get them into a whole other medium.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
that's really good. That's really good advice. What would you do specifically if you were in my shoes doing the Uber driving?
Shit. Put me on the spot. You're a good, by the way, you're a really good interviewer. Thanks for having me on. Um, the Josh did
Well,
the
that's
same
all our
thing.
time. We gotta
Yeah.
go.
Oh shit. All right, man. Well, thank you. Can I at least say my Twitter? Well, the
Sorry.
no Twitter on this podcast. Well, I'm trying to. I think you're doing what you should be doing. I mean, handing out. I don't know. Can you exclusively take people to and from comedy clubs? Can you like only be willing?
Just like
Maybe fuck that
demand
up.
that they no, we're going to the comedy club. Sorry.
Oh, that'd be
I
even
know.
better if they're drunk enough
I
to
know
just
you want
not
to
be
go
coming to
home,
me.
but your kids are
Well,
gonna
I don't
have to
know.
wait.
If Uber has, yeah, right. If
No,
Uber has a function,
no, you can't really. I mean, a lot of. I guess you could try to build up a clientele, but even that I think is difficult because you don't really get to choose who you
yeah,
get. I think it would have
yeah.
to be something where someone would have to like text me specifically and then send out their little signal to the closest Uber driver when I'm in
Now,
front of their house.
now, how do you feel about being doing something very hacky? Because I have an idea. Um,
Hacky, as
yeah.
in I'm picking up riders,
No, no.
or
No. I'm like hacking them to pieces and putting
no,
them
I
in the
mean your
trunk.
comedy.
No,
How do you feel about doing such
no. I mean,
hacking?
like not necessarily hacky comedy, but kind of like hacking marketing. So it'd be like,
Um,
so are you generally funny in real life, as in addition to being on stage?
Sometimes I
Okay.
think
Well, because you could be.
not very often, to be honest. Like I am, but not the way I am on stage. And now that I'm doing comedy, I often don't feel like being funny when I'm
Yeah.
not doing the podcast or on
No.
stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, so the only way I could really think to, as far as from a marketing standpoint, would be other than just getting download cards and being like, as you're in conversation, make sure it steers into some kind of comedy, and then you
Yeah,
tell them you're a comedian, and you go, oh yeah, by the way, if you're ever interested, here's the card, and that's all you
right.
can really do. But I
Mhm.
would definitely, if you're able to consistently do whatever you have to make these people laugh in the car ride, to
Mhm.
the point where they like, and you could, God, this is so hacky. You could market yourself as like the funny Uber driver or some fucking ridiculous name.
Right.
And then you would the download cards or whatever, the cards to find you online, you could definitely market them that way and be like, oh,
Right.
also here's my numbers on the card. Anytime you want a ride and a laugh or whatever, I don't know, you can sleep with me.
Right.
No, anytime you want a ride and a laugh, you just text me and I'll come
Mhm.
pick you up, kind of thing.
The
That would
the
be,
weird
yeah,
thing the weird thing about that is like, late at night, like kind of hipsters and college students and bar goers like my comedy, I think, generally. But like older people, like when you're supposed to like kind of the funny banter that you're supposed to do as a server or an Uber driver with kind of like middle-aged people, it isn't really, my kind of comedy. Like you're
yeah.
supposed to, you know what I mean? And also a lot of younger people too. like I can't really do like for years I would try to do like kind of waiter comedy, like, oh, somebody was hungry. Oh, you didn't like it at all, did you? You know what I mean? And like that's the type of comedy like most people eating at a restaurant want in their lives, and I just can't do that.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
not
have you
true.
ever
I've
waited
never.
tables? It's like it's
Nope.
so bad. It's
I
working
did.
with the public is like so it's like the anti-comedy.
I
Like
did.
it's
I
all
did.
about
Yeah.
mediocrity and catering to like the lowest common denominator.
I did
Good.
while everyone else was doing retail or food service, I did childcare, and I got
Oh,
to tell
nice.
you, I killed in front of those fourth graders
I'll bet you did.
every day, every day. Well, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. You just do a little physical comedy, and they lose their
Right.
shit. Yeah. It's
I'll
great.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so you had mentioned quite some time ago that you were like, yeah, comedy was never part of the plan. What was the plan at that point?
I don't know. I had kind of a weird life in that instead of going to college after high school or getting a real job, I got really drunk for about 4 years.
You could have done that in neither one though. Yeah.
No, but like the type of drunk where you can't do that type of stuff.
Ah,
And also just like really bad depression at that age that I didn't quite like know how to treat. So I really didn't do a whole lot from like 18 to 21 when I got sober. Really
mhm.
22 was when I started doing stuff. So it was like I was like had a shitty, I was kind of a shitty person from 18 to 21, and then I like kind of got my stuff together, and then I kind of did all the things that you're supposed to do, like go back to school
Yeah.
and get a steady job and get a steady girlfriend and talk about marriage. And I still didn't know what I was going to do at that point, if I was going to be like a teacher, or I remember thinking about like a park ranger. And I still like like I was doing all the things that like my parents wanted me to do and like my girlfriend wanted me to do, and that I thought were kind of the right things that you're supposed to do when you get your life together. And but I still wasn't sure, and I knew I wanted to get into performance, but I kept putting it off. And then all of a sudden I was like 26, 27, and I was like, oh, this is not what I wanted to do with my 20s.
Yeah.
um and then I had like another really bad depression when I went off some medication, and I still didn't know for like years, even until I was like 28, 29. I still was like kind of dabbling in comedy and didn't know if I could make it my thing. um and honestly, I still am not sure what I want to do with everything. I just want to have a little day job, I guess, and do comedy at night and do music occasionally. And I write as well,
Yeah.
but you don't make a lot of money from that.
Yeah.
Um, so I've always been pretty responsible with money, strangely. Like I've never really been in debt or anything like that. I always had good credit. Um, so it's not like I'm like starving to death, but I'm definitely not a wealthy individual. And I live a pretty simple life, like, not drinking and not really, doing anything extravagant has kind of left me with a really inexpensive life.
Yep.
Living in Baltimore is kind of cheap. So I'm pretty sure I just want to do what I'm doing now for the rest of my life.
That's
Like
awesome. Well, that's good as long as
hopefully
you can sustain it. Yeah.
hopefully continue to like get better at it, and
Yeah.
kind of do bigger venues, and eventually become like a regular headliner.
Now, do you make
Um,
enough money to just sustain yourself on comedy or various art forms, or is it just
no, no,
okay?
no. That's
So
why
a
I'm
lot
Uber
of Uber
driving.
driving. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in like a few years, but like I said, I'm not really in that much of a hurry. Like I'm just so happy to like I was really really lost in my late 20s. I felt like a total loser who didn't know his place. I think I was like one of those guys that just needed to be creative and needed to live this type of life, and I was just too scared to for so
Mhm.
long. Um, and so I'm just happy. I have like more than enough money in the bank. Um, I don't have to worry about money as long as I just work a few hours a day.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty happy living like this. Hopefully it'll become more professional as I go on, but I'm definitely not like making that my main priority. partially out of laziness, but but I'm just, I'm in this for the long haul, so I'm
Yeah.
fine with just taking it slowly and enjoying life. This is like the first time in a long time where I've just kind of been like, oh, I like my life, and I just kind of have to keep doing these things daily, just do like a little bit every day. And, I don't have, for years, I just had that thing in the back of my head being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
when are you going to get your shit together? Like, I'll do it next week, or like, I'll get started soon. So I'm just enjoying the way I'm living so much that I don't want to stop.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to determine if we do another 10 minutes because this was such a perfect like conclusion place. But so are you interested in coming? I'm doing a group podcast in a few minutes. Are you
Uh-huh.
interested in jumping on that? I'll just send you the link.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. Well, then let's wrap up here. Give me your plugs. I'm enjoying talking to you so much, but that was such a
Thanks, man.
perfect wrap up.
Thank
Um,
you.
so yeah, so give me any plugs, and then I'll cancel it out, and then I'll send you a link to the next one.
Okay. Just check out the Digression Sessions. My Twitter is Mike Moran Wood, WOULD. I have a column for Brightest Young Things called BYT Baltimore. Um, and I guess that's about it.
Looked like you seeped into like plug Nirvana there.
I'm really if you listen to the Digression Sessions, I always fuck up the plugs. Like Josh has his ready to go. He's ready. He's got them all down, and then I'm like scrambling to find my phone. Like, oh crap, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's reminding me that I changed my Twitter name. Like I'm giving him my old Twitter
Oh my
name.
god. You guys listening,
So
you have to understand the two of them are such a perfect pair. I didn't get to mention this to you, but like when I talked to Josh, I was like, it sounds like you guys have known each other since childhood. Like it's
thanks,
a
man.
perfect yeah. All right,
Thank
sweet.
you. Yeah,
Well,
it's weird. We didn't
yeah,
meet until I was like 27, and he
that's
was like
not
22. Yeah.
yeah. All right, cool. Well, I will say bye to you now, and I'll see you in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, later.
Bye.